Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar series called TIF Talks. These TIF Talks are designed to connect with our early career candidates to provide insight into our culture and take a deeper dive into who we are here at Protiviti. My name is Jory Bushlis, and I'm a part of Protiviti's early career recruiting team in our Chicago office. Today, I'm joined by some of my colleagues in St. Louis, Phoenix, and Philadelphia. Let's start off with some brief introductions. Kate, do we want to start with you?
Of course. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. I appreciate to be chatting today. My name is Kate Anderson, and I am in Protiviti's Business Performance Improvement Solution, which is one of the 5 or 6 that we offer. I'm a senior consultant and have been at the firm for 4 years. And right now I'm in the St. Louis office, but I'm originally from Chicago.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. Devin, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Devin Oliver. I am a manager within our technology consulting solution under our privacy and data protection practice. I am here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I've been in Phoenix for about 5 years. I joined Protiviti right after college. I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and I studied information systems, information technology, and business process management. So yeah, just happy to be here and happy to share all I've learned in my 5 years here at the firm.
Awesome. Thanks, Devin. And Brian, if you want to introduce yourself.
Everybody, thanks for joining today. My name is Brian. I am a senior consultant in our internal audit and financial advisory solution. I am in the Philadelphia office. I've been here for about 2 years. A lot of my colleagues have started their careers at Protiviti. I was an experienced hire. I came in 2 years ago, and I was previously working in public accounting where I got my CPA. And then when I came here, I got my CIA, which is a certified internal auditor.
Awesome. Well, excited to have you all here today to discuss a little bit more about making an impact in your roles here at Protiviti. So thank you for those introductions. In the world of consulting, many of us know we often focus on providing expert advice into the business, helping them overcome challenges to reach their full potential. However, a lot of us know our role extends beyond just business solutions. We also have an opportunity to make a positive impact within our communities. So today, we're going to hear from our panelists on how they've made an impact in their local community through their work at Protiviti. We'd love for this to be an interactive webinar, so please use the Q&A function to submit your questions. We'll have designated time at the end to answer them. But Brian, if you want to start, kind of tell us a little bit about how you've been able to make an impact in the Philadelphia market.
Sure. So as was mentioned, we have an opportunity to make an impact in our communities as well when we're working with Protiviti. Since I've been with Protiviti I've been here for about 2 years. So for a little under 2 years, I have been the lead of our committee called Eye on Hunger. And a little background information, Eye on Hunger is our firm's global initiative, which is aimed at combating hunger and food scarcity in our local communities. And essentially, we do that by providing meals to people in need. We typically partner with our clients, our colleagues, as well as a nonprofit organization to participate in events such as like meal packing, fundraising, food drives, and then ensure we're working with partners to have the food or meals that we pack distributed to the community. This initiative was Protiviti started this initiative back in 2015, I believe. This year we celebrated a very large milestone of serving 15 million meals. And as of, I believe, October or September of this year, we reached 16 million meals. The Philadelphia office has provided 200,000 meals. We just hit that 200,000 meal milestone, I think, with our last event. So we typically do around 20,000 meals a year in our office. Depending on the size of the office, it can be more than that, less than that. The Philadelphia office, we partner with we have about 6 like core nonprofits that we work with, where essentially we will find one day a quarter where we can get as many people as possible from the office, either in the office to do some form of meal packing event, or we will go to the nonprofit warehouse or site and participate in packing meals, making meals. Sometimes we actually have employees like in the kitchen making soup, things of that nature. We've also gone to warehouses and sorted through produce, packed meals. So it's a really fun opportunity to not only connect with your colleagues in a different setting other than a boardroom or an audit room, or even in the office, and also give back to the community. Yeah, I have been involved with Eye on Hunger since I started at the firm. And one of my colleagues had just gotten promoted to manager, who didn't want to lead the Eye on Hunger committee anymore, and he was looking for someone to take over. And I previously had already been involved with volunteering with another organization in my free time, and was kind of bringing it to him as an option for another partner that we could work with. And he asked me if I would like to take over as a lead, and I said yes. So since then, we've been planning these quarterly events. We actually have one coming up at the beginning of November, where we're going to be doing an in-office meal packing event, where we're going to be packing lunches to fill various community fridges that are in South Philadelphia and North Philadelphia. And we're also right now running a food drive to donate to an organization called Fill Abundance in the Philadelphia community. So hoping to serve like around 30,000 meals this year, and we will see if we get there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. I know we recently had a meal packing event in Chicago. That was a lot of fun as well. So excited to hear how your event in Philly goes. Kate, would love to turn it over to you to kind of hear how you've been able to make an impact with your client work.
Sure. Yeah. As we were putting together this webinar, we didn't want to ignore the importance of the work that we're doing and the client work, and how you can make an impact in that, and how Protiviti really is proud of our culture. And over again, you hear people saying, I love the people I work with. And so I think there's ways that you can very intentionally care for those around you, care for yourself, and make an impact with the circle that you naturally run into, so that we can not only deliver that exceptional work to our clients, continue to be the face of Protiviti well, but then also join and make impact into the community through things like Eye on Hunger and other avenues. So, we wanted to just have an example of what can it look like to make an impact around where you are right now. And so I would say one of the things Protiviti really cares about is having exceptional memories when you're working with your clients as well as your colleagues. And so when you think about how do I make an impact with exceptional memories on every engagement I'm in, that can be kind of threefold. It can be through everyday communication. So how are you even joining a meeting and using the first couple minutes to check in on people or talk about the weekend, making sure that you're getting to know the person behind the work. And then you can make exceptional memories by doing celebratory meals. Think about getting together with colleagues or with the client, treating them to dinner, milestones in a project, or things that's been hard that you've been able to work through together. And then even beyond that, making exceptional memories and an impact with things like golf tournaments, if you have the opportunity to take a client with or participate in on behalf of a charity. I think being in an industry like consulting, we have a unique opportunity to touch a lot of different groups, because you're not only put on different projects that involve different Protiviti colleagues that you might not have worked with before, but then again, you're touching new clients and new people. So I think building up that skill and being intentional about how do I make sure I feel good about where I work and how my colleagues feel good about their work then allows us to continue on into the community in a really helpful way. So I think the last thing I would add as it relates to like my local community and my local Protiviti colleagues would be, how do I welcome the new hires? How do I step up and ensure that they feel supported and recognized? And how do I cultivate opportunities for happy hours and for ways to do new events so that people have an opportunity to connect with each other outside of maybe how they might naturally. So I'll happy to chat about that more if someone has a question, but I think that that's been a really fun way to make an impact in our community in consulting.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Kate. I think there's so many ways outside of, client work and the work that we do with different, company initiatives, but building those relationships is really important within, our internal teams and our external teams. So thanks for sharing more about that. And last, but certainly not least, Devin, would love to hear a little bit more about how you've found ways to get involved since joining Protiviti.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when I started at Protiviti, it was fairly easy to get involved, at least from an office perspective, because in Phoenix at least, our culture is very much everybody sort of knows each other. And so I was able to join committees pretty quickly and get to know people throughout the office and really gain some mentorship just from some of our high level managers and just get to meet people that way. So I started in 2019 and then we went straight into the pandemic in 2020. So things very quickly shifted and I felt like I was kind of missing more of that in-person connection, connecting with more of my colleagues. And that's when our Black Employee Inclusion Network group Being had started. And so I decided to get involved with that. And that gave me kind of a national lens into the firm and got me to connect more with people through it, other offices, especially other Black employees, and just build that community, but also have the resources necessary to kind of thrive here at Protiviti. So it started there where I was able to kind of build more of a national network. And then I also decided to join our Pro Pride ENG, which is our LGBT plus group. And so in joining that, I was able to just gain more connection with colleagues that way, and also to bring that closer to my local market as well. So I became a Pro Pride Phoenix liaison, which just basically means that any events that we were having nationally, I could also bring them to Phoenix and make sure people here were connected with that as well. And it also gave me the chance to put events together for our Phoenix team. So having both that like national and local level of connection with the firm was amazing. And I think it's continued to go on through the years for me. So now I'm our multicultural committee in Phoenix head. So what that means is any kind of networking group that we have in Phoenix that's related to any culture. So Lang, which is our Latin American network group, and then Being, Pro Pride, all of those groups kind of bubble up into our multicultural committee here locally, and I get to lead any initiatives associated with that and helping to bring those different topics to our office and make sure that it's top of mind for everybody and make sure that people here feel like they have a place at the firm. And that's also allowed me to be a DEI inclusion champion here for Phoenix as well, which has, again, brought me that national purview to get to connect with different DEI leaders throughout the country and even national or internationally. So getting involved that way, it's been great just to be able to connect different people throughout the firm and also connect our local office to those people. And like Kate said, I think the people here really make the firm. So having all that connection has been great, and getting other people to get connected has also been an amazing experience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Devin, and thank you all for sharing, your individual stories and the experiences you've had so far at Protiviti. This is the portion of the webinar that I mentioned earlier where we'd love to transition into Q&A from the audience. So if you'd like to submit a question, feel free. If for some reason we don't get the chance to get to your question today, we can always follow up after the webinar and answer those individually. But now would be a great time to drop a question if you have one. I do see one that just came in, so would love to hear about any opportunities that you can see our early career hires be able to get involved, within their internship or within their consultant opportunities. So if any of you want to answer that one.
I will say there's always an opportunity during an internship for you to get involved with the Iron Hunger Committee. Typically, during the internship period, we always have a week called Intern Week of Service, where we plan various events for our interns to participate in the events community. So there's always, at least for the Philadelphia office, and I believe it's the same for all the offices, there's always an Eye on Hunger event during that week. So we typically try to get as many people from the office as well as all of our interns, and we will go and participate in one of our meal packing events. And I think it's a great way to show our interns and anyone that's interested in working with us full time kind of what our initiative is about, and also get to see how passionate a lot of people are about it. I think no matter where you live, a lot of us kind of forget and take for granted that there are a lot of people in the United States who are suffering from food insecurity. And uh, it's really rewarding to be able to be a part of these events and provide meals to people who may not have any other supplements kind of nutrition and other.
And I can confirm had a meal
So-
packing event this summer with our interns. It was a great experience. What I'll touch on is in terms of ENGs and getting connected with our employee network groups, we do have this program for interns and new hires called ENG Connect. And that's basically where you get connected with somebody from any ENG you're interested in, and they'll kind of just walk you through how that ENG works and get you connected with the folks if you're interested. I am an ENG representative, and I love it. I love to be able to connect people with our groups and make sure that they're aware of how to get involved if they'd like to.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd add is just the emphasis on we are so excited that interns want to be here, and we want to give you the opportunity to make an impact starting in your internship. So those were great examples, and I bet I could, we could come up with more, but the bottom line is there are absolutely opportunities to make an impact and get involved in the culture right off the bat in an internship.
Yeah, awesome. I think you all did great jobs of kind of describing ways that we've seen our interns, get involved outside of their traditional client work for the summer. But would love to hear, specifically with you all balancing, your project work. How do you make time to, be involved with all these kind of extra opportunities that you have?
Okay, well, I'm off mute, so I guess I can start. How do I make time? I mean, you probably see this in your college experience now or in other areas of your life and seasons you've been in of time management. And so you make time for the things that you care about. And I would say it's important to know that where you start making an impact in Protiviti, like a specific ENG or a specific avenue, doesn't have to be where you stay or end up. So take the pressure off and just be like, let's see what opportunities are presented to me and say yes when I can and just take it from there. And I would say time and time again, you see examples of you're able to juggle both and your clients want you to do good work. And so being able to make an impact in your community can also aid that as well.
Yep, I 100% agree with Kate. I'll also say your client work will always come first, but for me, I almost like needed to do other things outside of client work to feel like I had a whole experience here at Protiviti. So you kind of just make the time, and throughout the day, people are very flexible. So if you have a meeting on your schedule for an ENG or for a local committee, like most of the time people understand if you have to miss a couple because you have client work, it just makes sense. Like everybody understands everybody's busy, but we also, a lot of people just make the time, and we're all here supporting each other, which is really great. So you really do what you can when you can if you want to, and it's great in that way.
And just to piggyback off of what both have been said, I will say that in my experience, leadership wants you to get involved and be a part of these events that are going on in the office. One, it builds office morale, and two, I think just being a part of these networks and taking advantage of the opportunities that come with them is a great way to not only better yourself as an employee, but just as a professional and as an adult. And I've never had anyone from manager or above ever push back when I've asked to be like, hey, do you mind if I take the day and go to this meal packing event? Or hey, do you mind if I go to a campus recruiting event to assist our recruiters? So I feel like everybody at Protiviti normally is happy to work with you, especially when it involves you volunteering for something that is going to benefit the firm.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. And Devin, we got a question in the chat that I think would be great for you to answer, specifically looking at what opportunities do inclusion networks have for community outreach programs or opportunities, maybe times when you've been able to experience this in your ENG groups.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a really good one from recently. We went to the Boys and Girls Club, well, one of their locations locally in Phoenix here. I think it was last week or the week before. And it was just like a really good experience, just like hang out with some kids who just needed a space after school to feel safe and not have to worry about not having their parent there or anything. So like it was just good to connect with local kids and be able to kind of share what it's like as an adult who's, you know, kind of been in their shoes before, like just what life is after you grow up, and also just to play with them. Like it's just fun to hang out with kids and be there to support that group. And so that actually came out of one of our members of our local group who just wanted to do that. So somebody just decided, oh, I want to be able to get involved with our community. And we at Protiviti allow you to do that. So you can set up events like that all the time. So I'd say those little opportunities like that happen all the time where you get to do some community outreach if you'd like to, and you really get to own that initiative and get credit for it here. So that would be the one that's sticking out to me right now.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think it's so great to find those opportunities within your community and see what is interesting to, those individuals. So thank you for sharing a little bit more about that experience. And then would love to kind of ask, the group through, all of these different initiatives where you've had to, work with your community, has there been opportunities for you to grow as, a professional and, a personal in your leadership style? So in what ways have you kind of found the opportunity to grow professionally and personally from those community involvement opportunities?
I can start. And this one I'll kind of throw, I have a co-leader for our multicultural group here locally. She's a consultant and she was really nervous to kind of lead the group. So we're co-leaders on that. And so I said, I will do this with you so that you can kind of get to experience what it's like to lead without all the pressure of doing it on your own. And so she's been able to learn a lot about public speaking, learn a lot about organizational skills just by doing this with me and having the support of a manager who's kind of gone through it. So from that perspective, I feel like having support locally has always been helpful. And I feel like I had that when I started at Protiviti, so I wanted to give that to her. But yeah, just being able to join a group and to take on leadership responsibilities, either leading an event or leading a whole committee, you get that public speaking experience, you get that organizational skills experience, you get to talk to MDs within the office and local counterparts. Like you get all of that experience to really put yourself out there and learn new skills. So I recommend it, and I think everybody here has the opportunity to do that if they're interested.
One thing I'd add on to Devin's is as a participant, you also can have that impact. So, and learn and grow. So even if you're the one that's not leading the whole group, you have an opportunity to see a leadership style and say, what do I really appreciate about that? How can I use that? See something as a great example and let me go use it this afternoon at my client. Like things like that can also be really impactful because I've loved to kind of dabble in different things. So while I'm not, the top of one of the ENGs, I enjoy going to the different events and seeing how I can kind of get a snippet of each, and you can learn a lot that way as well.
Yeah, Kate kind of said exactly what I was about to say. I think it's super important whenever you start your career, whether you go into consulting or whatever field you go into. There's a saying that I feel like has been thrown around. I heard it a million times when I started. It's that you should be a sponge and just try to learn as much as you can. And I think also can be applied towards leadership styles. Like from the minute you start your career, you're going to be in some form of situation or setting where there's going to be somebody leading you and helping you, and you can sit there and just take in their leadership style, learn from them, and you might learn things that you want to replicate when you become a leader, and you might learn things like, oh, I would probably do this a little differently. And I mean, that's the beauty of it, that you don't have to just mimic and repeat every single thing that you're seeing when you're in a participant in these groups or in like working on a client, you can really kind of pick and choose what you feel works best for you and your style. So a lot of it is just kind of experiencing it firsthand, maybe from a manager or a senior as you're working on a client, and then finding your own personal style through.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all for sharing about ways you've been able to personally and professionally grow through your community involvement. And then would love to hear, about how different new hires who join us here at Protiviti have the opportunity to make an impact or, act as a mentor. If any of you want to share, when you first started, what that looked like for you.
So sorry, Kate. I was an experienced hire. I did not come in as a new hire, so I can't really speak to how many opportunities you have immediately when you start for mentorship as far as like being a mentor. But I can say that immediately when you start at Protiviti, you're assigned 3 different advisors. You have a peer advisor, a career advisor. All of them are at different levels in the firm. All of them have probably been here a different amount of time. They may not have started here, but all of them have the same goal of essentially help you get acclimated to the firm and then excel and exceed at the firm in anything that you do. Your peer advisors typically for like day-to-day questions that you might feel a little embarrassed to ask somebody or your manager. Career advisor and executive advisor are more so there to help you navigate your career, clients, things of that nature. So from day one, you do have that support system. And then as you get more experience in your career, you eventually will become those advisors for someone else. Like I am now a peer advisor for someone, and it's really rewarding to be able to just help someone feel comfortable in the first couple of weeks of work. It's obviously a little bit scary when you're coming into an office of 100+ people and you don't know anyone. So it's nice to be assigned like 3 people who are there to have your back and will help you with whatever questions you have and just help you meet people in the office. It's a really great resource to have.
Yeah, the only quick things I would add are, so I was not an intern at Protiviti, but I did start right after graduation. So that was like my first full-time job. I was really nervous. I started during COVID. So there were a lot of factors going on. I think Protiviti gives people so many opportunities to step up. And so you could be put on a project and pretty quickly be able to step up and own a deliverable or lead a work stream or watch someone lead a client meeting a few times. And then the next time they ask, hey, do you want to take a stab at leading this call following the same structure? Like that's been really helpful. And I think that that's allowed me to progress in my career faster than I might have thought with how like the skills that I'm able to build. And then also I think recognizing as a new hire, like you guys have a unique perspective that we don't have. And so being able to recognize like I'm bringing something to the table Protiviti doesn't have yet. And I'm bringing something to the table that can be really helpful for someone else. So it doesn't have to come with age. It doesn't have to come with experience. It can just be from like who you are already and, why Protiviti wanted to hire you. Like that's meaningful. So take it and run.
Yeah, awesome. It's always great to hear about our new consultants being able to make these impacts. And I want to thank all of you today for joining. And I think just looking at all the different ways that we are able to make an impact here with our clients. I hope you all learned a lot about developing and finding new ways to get involved within our communities and making those impacts in consulting. So I appreciate everyone joining today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. We will conclude our TIF Talk series for the fall now, but be on the lookout for our spring 2025 series coming up.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody.